See, I'm with the neighbor. You've had enough.
Tell us what your film name is, who your character was, what his contribution was to the whole storyline.
Okay, alright, so I, in the movie called Nursery Rhyme, and I played a character named Javier, and my role in that film is a little bit different because I played a person who was deaf, and he used sign language to communicate, and that's a little bit different in movies because you don't often see a deaf character, but also the character being deaf had nothing to do with the film.
And yet you were neither of those things.
I am not.
Did this pose any special difficulties for you?
No, it did not. Actually, it worked to my advantage because I'm a professional sign language interpreter. I'm fluent in ASL, and I was able to use those skills in this film.
Allie Williams, as your girlfriend, also used sign language in her scenes with you. How did you two rehearse those scenes?
Well, it was also to Allie's advantage because she had some exposure to sign language when she was younger. She wasn't as fluent. She's not as fluent as I am, but we went through the scenes together and we went through the script, and I gave her, oh, these are options how you can sign it. You can sign it this way and you can sign it that way, and I think she chose the options that were most comfortable for her. And then we ran the scenes after we did them verbally. Then we ran them using sign language, and then we were ready by the time we had a film.
You did a flurry of hand signs during the climax of the movie. Do we want to know just what you were saying?
There were a lot of expletives, so you can just imagine all the bad words, and that's exactly what I was signing.
So how do you think that this film could influence or impact the deaf and hard of hearing community?
Well, this particular character, not really, because he's an abusive alcoholic. So, but I just think that having representation in film, having deaf people in a movie, people using sign language, I think that there's not enough exposure to that, and not enough exposure to people deaf or hearing alike using sign language in film. So I think that's positive.
Where do you think your character would be today?
Dead, probably. I don't know. He was probably really self-destructive. I don't think he would want to change much more than that.
Do you personally feel like you connected to this particular character in any sort of way?
I'm not personally, but I did connect in as much as I wanted to explore this kind of angrier side of my personality. Yeah, so not really. I mean, I'm not an abusive person, but yeah, I enjoyed playing this kind of asshole character who was abusive, and I had a cigarette that I would smoke, and there was this bell that I would ring, and I remember the director just gave me the bell and said, here, like, just, you know, to get our attention, you ring the bell. And there was a scene where we were all filming this point of view of one of the characters opening the door and watching everybody out there, and I just decided to ring the bell as the character. The director didn't tell me that. I was like ringing the bell as angrily as I possibly could, and that was the take that made it into the movie, because I think that's who Javier was, somebody who just didn't care, and somebody who was just an asshole.
Do you feel that even though your character is very volatile and essentially a bad character, that there was any way you as an actor could sympathize with him?
Of course. I mean, anytime we work on a project or anytime we work on a character, you cannot go in there judgmentally. You have to sympathize with the character. Where is he coming from? And so I've definitely, you know, sympathized with somebody who is probably, you know, who is deaf, who probably faced handicaps growing up, and adversity, and who's probably grew up to be frustrated and angry, and maybe that is what caused him to react that way. And it was a pleasure working on this film. It was a lot of fun to do this film. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy Nursery Rhyme.